What's up, guys? My name's KhaoticK, back at you guys with a little one today, and we're coming at you with a new review. And in this one, we are going to be reviewing PHB. And PHB is a GHB analog. This one is very interesting in that it does sort of have an phenobut kind of effect, as well as a GHB effect. So it does have, in my opinion, more affinity for that GABA B receptor that phenobut hits, and the same affinity for the GHB receptor, although it is actually up to 10 times stronger than GHB, and this one would be roughly 100 milligrams a dose, equals like 1 gram of GHB. So pretty interesting stuff. So we're gonna get right into that and how it affected me. Hope you guys are staying high, stay lifted, and let's get right into it. So PHB, it's very interesting. It does have like a phenyl group, like phenobuts. And I tried this a few weeks ago. Yeah, it felt very euphoric, very recreational, very sort of different, like actually minorly different, not a lot, but yeah, it felt like a GHB high. It definitely did hit that receptor because I would know because I've done GHB a lot, GBL. I'm very familiar with that receptor and know its effects. So yeah, the effect profile was pretty interesting. And yeah, it's very interesting. This is like basically GHB in a capsule. You can fit it in a capsule. This shit will hit you, roughly 30 minutes to an hour at most. And empty stomach is even better. It does kick in quicker. PHB is very interesting, bro. This one, it's awesome. All right, so definitely try it if you can get your hands on it. It's very rare. It's extremely rare. I mean, it's more rare than probably MXE at this point. Yeah, and that's really saying something because I'm not sure, but it's super fucking rare, dude. Like, I just look up online. You're not gonna find nothing about it, man. And honestly, it's actually technically not as rare as MXC because there is one source that does indeed have it. Right now, I do not know one or any sources of MXC. So yeah, never mind. But anyways, back to the video. So back to what we were talking about with PHB. This one is literally pretty much GHB, bro. I mean, it really feels like GHB, feels normal, not too intense, but it can get very intense. And I would say this, the music appreciation on this one, it seems to be higher. Like, I don't know, it does feel like you almost combine phenobut and GHB. I would say it's probably roughly maybe 15-20% of a phenobut high. And yeah, it kind of feels like it would be 2 drugs in one, but not at all. Like, honestly, mixed with like GBL, by the way, absolutely no interactions because it actually for sure 100% does hit the same receptor. So honestly, it's just gonna add to the high. It's not gonna subtract from the high. It's not gonna feel like something different, but you will feel that for sure. You're gonna feel that it feels the same, all right? If you're very experienced with GHB, GBL, and BDO even, yeah, it's gonna feel like what you are used to. And I would say it's more sedating as well. I do want to add that. It does have a more sedative effect. And again, that must be because it has more affinity for the GABA B receptor. So yeah, it's a little more tiring, although, in a 100 milligram dose, it does have that, typical GHB stimulatory effect actually too. So there is some stimulation behind the sedativeness and it just feels a lot different there for sure, 100%. Music appreciation though is, in my opinion, I think better than GHB by itself. Not better than GBL, but definitely better than GHB because yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, it must be because it's hitting receptors a little more, has more affinity for one or the other. Yeah, it does kind of affect the high. It affects the way music sounds. Yeah, for sure. And honestly, it's a lot more chill of a drug. Like I would say, like this one, definitely a lot more cozy in a way. Feels a lot more relaxing. And yeah, that's awesome. That's really fucking nice. But sometimes, yeah, you may or may not like that. But that's up to you. But yeah, PHB, definitely a very good drug. 100 milligrams, 1 gram, roughly with GHB. Yeah, don't take what I say, seriously because that's a rough estimate, very rough estimate. But I would say that, yeah, that's about right. And if you increased it up to 200 milligrams, I've never done that, but I kind of want to try that maybe. But I did take up to 200 milligrams in one night, not at the same time. And yeah, it really felt like nothing else. It really felt like you're just taking GHB at that point. And it's also sodium as well. It's the sodium version of the compound. And it's just very interesting. I would have never thought that thing could exist. I just never thought there's a drug that's basically a mix of phenobut and GHB. That's the trip. I've done phenobut by itself. before. And yeah, no, for sure, 100%. Yeah, it feels like you took a low dose of phenibut with GHB. It's very interesting. It's kind of exactly what you probably imagine what it would feel like. Yeah, I was actually surprised, realized, yeah, it felt exactly what I would think it would feel like. Seriously. Like, it felt like I took a little bit of phenibut, but, however, mostly with GHB, and it felt like a mix of both highs, but it felt like its own drug. So it still felt like its own drug, its own thing. Very, very interesting. So definitely worth a try, okay? It may take some digging around to find where to get it from, though. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. Very, very hard to source that stuff. So I would be on the lookout. I would be advised, you really have to be careful where you're getting it from. Make sure it's a verified source all the time, all the way. And make sure it has, GCMS testing results, something. Maybe even test it yourself, because you never know. Maybe send in a sample for testing, just to be 100% sure. But I know mine has to be it because there was testing involved. There's GCMS testing results, but it feels like GHB, but it's fucking 10 times as strong. I'm serious. Like, the amount of powder you have to swallow is very different looking than what you would have to swallow with GHB powder. And not to mention less sodium in your body. You have less sodium in your body, when you take it. So, I mean, you're obviously going to have less side effects from that. You're not going to have water retention, too much sodium in your body and system, and all the other symptoms that may or may not cause, from that, but may or may not come from that. This one, I kind of like this shit, I'll be honest. It's pretty addicting. It's obviously GHB analog. It's probably, well, not the only GHB analog, but one of the GHB analogs. But this is the first one I could get my hands on. All of the other ones are precursors. BDO, GBL, they don't count. Those are precursors, in my opinion. But, it's not an analog. This is like 100% an analog. So very interesting. There's also, I guess, aspartic acid, which actually is the acetyl ester or something of GHB and does convert into GHB in your body. I've never tried that one. I actually just discovered that as well. So that's pretty interesting. And I mean, there's GVL, by the way, gamma valerolactone, and GHV. So I don't know, but there's some very interesting ones out there, which, are weaker than GHB itself. GVL and GVH are weaker than GHB, but they do exhibit a similar effect. And there's others as well. There's others that may or may not hit the GHB receptor, I'm sure. But very interesting to learn about this, But yeah, so very interesting stuff here. I would definitely advise caution with this as well. You may or may not be able to go unconscious. I would say that it would be easier to go unconscious for sure because the powder is smaller. You may or may not fucking overdose, bro, because you're like, oh, it's not much. And I would not snort this shit. Sodium in your nose is probably not good. By the way, I did try to vape this shit. It was disgusting, but it could be vaped, but it's so bad. Do not vape this shit. Don't snort it. Fuck it. Take it like a normal person, bro. Take it like a normal person. You can mix it in your drink. It's actually probably less likely to make the drink taste bad. Mix it in a soda. It will taste good still. It's very little amount of sodium involved versus like GHB. Yeah, no, it has its use cases. I would say you can even be conspicuous about this shit. Man, you can hide that powder in a lot of shit, bro. But you better watch where you're putting that, by the way. But definitely worth a try. Get your hands on if you can. If you like phenibut, or if you like GHB, or if you like both, right? But be advised, it may or may not be more addicting. And probably more so because if it has more affinity for the GABA B receptor, it's going to have more of a withdrawal. I'm just saying that because I'm pretty sure that's real. So be wary of how it, affects you there. If you were addicted to benzos in the past, or if you have addictions with phenibut or GHB, watch out because it's seriously going to reactivate. I'm pretty sure it will. So watch out. You don't want to be abusing this shit, up the ass. You got to be careful. All right, we want safe use as much as possible. If you're going to take those heroic doses, I mean, why would you do that? I'm pretty sure you're more likely to knock out from PHB, by the way. It's definitely stronger. Watch out for that. Watch out for how it may affect you for the first time. Definitely, if you've never tried GHB, do not try this. This is for experienced individuals only. I'm serious. You're going to have to be careful. You're going to have to not overdose, And again, it's going to require a lot lower of a powder to overdose. So I do not want you guys not weighing this shit. Please weigh it and weigh it some more. But yeah, coming from me, definitely a 10 out of 10, actually, in my opinion, bro. This shit is lit. It's the perfect thing to add on when the GHB's wearing off, like real GHB or GBL. If that's wearing off, you could just add a little dose of this. It'll come right back. Very good, additive to a GHB binge or like a GHB high. It has no interactions. I mean, don't take it from me. I do not know 100% sure. I'm not a fucking scientist or anything. This is a rare chemical and very, very new. So never mind. I take that back. I'm not going to say it doesn't have interactions, but in my opinion, it didn't feel like two drugs I mixed mix. It felt like one. So like they have slightly different onset, methods of action, but once they actually come up and kick in, it's the same drug. Like meaning like it hits the same receptor. You're not going to be able to tell which one's which at that point. So my assumption there is that very safe to, combine, but I would be advised, watch out for that one. And definitely, if you don't have a tolerance, do not ever be thinking of doing that. Do not combine stuff if you don't have a tolerance first. So, and that shouldn't have to be said. That should be common sense. Anyways, PHB gets the 10 out of 10 from me. Very interesting drug. Really had to put that out there. It was very fun to try it, and I hope you guys, enjoy the video. And stay tuned for the next one. Peace.